to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Sue Broome for Messages from Your Loved Ones. We're so glad to be here with you today. And the way that this works is that Sue and I sit here, we talk about things having to do with death and transitioning from one life form into another. And when you join us then, if you would put in the Facebook chat or the comments, put in if there's somebody that you have lost and loved and wanted to hear a message from, and we will get right on to that. So we're so glad that you're here with us today. Sue Broome, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Miss Ruth.
Well, we got through all of the eclipse excitement yesterday. I think
I
there's
had a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun.
I think there's probably some folks that are disappointed that the world is still here, but some folks were really planning on it just being like Y2K and everything stopping and life being finished as they know it. So I think they're probably a little disappointed.
You are absolutely right. And there are some people that probably had absolutely no clue that it even happened, which, everybody does their own thing. I was at a little gathering and we had a lot of fun. And you can see right here, a little red from the sun from looking up with my special glasses.
There we go. So the sun was still in effect, even when it wasn't.
It was.
Yeah.
It was interesting though, even though we could only see a part of it because we weren't in the full pathway. It was interesting because when it was starting to move, you could feel the warmth of the sun instantly. Even though we could still see a big part of it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much warmer now.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I was in my office, which is downstairs, filming somebody else. And so I missed the whole thing, but I did notice that it got just a little grayer. It just felt like the sun was, which it wasn't, just on a bit of a different trajectory. And it was like, So yeah, I missed the whole thing, but.
Well, and the other thing, we were paying attention to the animals and the birds. And it was eerily quiet. Even the wind. I mean, there was the wind. The spinner was going because she had a spinner in her yard. So that was still going, but it was slow. But you couldn't see any wind. You couldn't feel any wind and you could not hear any animals. And then as soon as it started moving, you could hear the birds again.
That's interesting. Huh. The other thing that was interesting, Sue, my chimes fell off my window. And not only did they fall off my window, but the round part that hit them, like I found it across the room. It was like, what? What happened there?
What happened? Can hear my chimes going on. It's almost like, did somebody swat it?
No one comes downstairs.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean physical.
I don't know. Because I have been sick and without power and otherwise offline. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the chimes got mad at me because I ignored him for a week. I don't know.
I think it was somebody trying to get your attention, man. Or somebody being just a little imp.
Perhaps. Well, why don't we get started with the topic of the day? And of course, when we come on and do messages from your loved ones, it's about folks that we have loved and lost. And I know, Sue, you had brought a couple of thoughts that you wanted to share while we were waiting for folks.
Yeah, one of the things that so many people, not everybody, but many people, when a loved one passes, they never talk of them again, and it's really important I think it's important for us because it does help us through the grief process. But it also helps young kids, so say that someone's spouse passes away and they have young kids. If the spouse that is remaining doesn't continue stories about, their mom or dad and keep them alive in the hearts, those kids might not remember them, depending on how old they are. My youngest brother, so I've had another brother that passed away very young, and my youngest brother, he goes, it's weird hearing about him because I don't remember him at all.
Ooh.
But
Ooh.
I think he was 2 or 3 when Chris died. So and he also, there's a lot of things he doesn't remember about my mom.
Oh, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I know now people have, recordings and videos and all that. I have one little tiny snippet of my mom's voice that when I took it from cassette, had it over to a MP3 so I could give it to my brothers. And all she says is, do you want to hear about the puppy? Because she was going to read a story about a puppy to my youngest brother. So that was the part of the recording that Sue didn't tape over when she was a kid.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah. There's something so beautiful about hearing that voice again. Now, we typically tend to, on our phone answering machine, keep, the grandma and the dad and all of that stuff. Of course, we don't have any of that stuff right now, but and I was just trying to think, do I have any recordings of my parents' voices? I think we don't have anything now. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't have anything from my dad. Just that little tiny snippet from my mom. Yeah. But I think even if you don't have that, sharing the stories. And yesterday it was, because all 3 ladies that were there have all lost their significant other. And so they were sharing, and it wasn't that they were going around telling stories. It was just a matter of conversation, oh, when we used to go to this restaurant, or when we used to do this, or we used to play cards with and it was just a normal part of the conversation. And joking about, oh yeah, when they used to do this, or when they used to, play jokes on people. Because I know my neighbor, I tell her, if she can't find something, it's like, yeah, I think Rich is up to something.
That's funny.
So, yeah, keeping them alive that way, I think it helps us, but it also, it's a connection to them that never goes away.
Well, and I think I know some people pray for someone who has passed over or talk to them or, include them in their goings on through the day kind of thing. And I think that does. Yeah. I think it just keeps people close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a message from someone this morning. In fact, I should quick look and see if I got any more messages from her, because she says, when are you guys going to be on? Because I'm visiting, she said it's her husband's birthday today. And she wanted to know what time we were going to be on, because she was going to go to his resting place. So it's another way that some people will absolutely celebrate their loved one. Going to where either their ashes are, or a place that they liked, or where they've been buried, all these different things, all these different places.
Yeah. Hey, Christy, welcome. We're glad that you're here. If you would like to receive a message, either from your guides or somebody who has passed over, please just put that in the comments. We're glad you're here. So one of my friends, her name is Bev, and her husband passed away, gosh, 15 years ago now, it seems. And they put up a bench on a walking path, and she does, hi guys, hi Pauline. She walks that path frequently, and every time she does, she picks up little stones and does like a heart or a flower or something, and swipes off the dust on the bench, to make it feel nice and welcoming. And then as she walks back by again, she fatouches the stones. And I mean, it's the sweetest thing, but it just keeps him current, I think. So Christy would like to hear from her sister, but first I want to show off Sue's cards. So Sue sent me a beautiful pack of her cards, and she created these with the help of two brothers and a mother.
Two brothers.
Two brothers. And each one, there's 42 cards, 44 cards?
44.
44, and each one has a special message on it. So that's what we're going to be using. So, all right. So Christy, glad that you're here. Pauline, if you would like to hear from someone that you have loved and lost, please put that in the comments. Oh, she did. Okay. I think Iris is who you're hoping to hear from, but let's go with Christy. I'd like to hear from
her sister. Her sister. Yeah, the words I'm hearing in my head is special bond. So there must have been maybe a special closeness. And I know sisters, not all sisters get along. I do not have a sister, but not all sisters get along, but some get along like they are two peas in a pod, definitely soul sisters. And so, all right, we have noticed the animals around you.
We were just talking about the animals.
Well, and it's actually kind of funny because as I was shuffling, I looked out the corner of my eye here to see if the neighbor dog was out, because she was out before. So it's like, yeah, notice the animals, because the animals are so intuitive, whether it's a pet or whether it is a bird, a squirrel. We don't have squirrels here. We have a lot of birds, but I know you have squirrels.
We do.
And notice what animals are doing, whether you're going for a walk or even if you're watching something on TV or something on your computer and you notice something out of the corner of your eye, whether it's a bird or a bunny or something, squirrel go running by, pay attention. And it's pay attention to not only what thoughts were just going through your head, but how you were feeling. Were you feeling about your sister? Were you going through and having a memory about, oh, when we went and did this event, or when we were together doing this, we saw wild turkeys, pay attention to that, or pay attention to when you're having this a memory that comes over, and maybe you're feeling sadness or happiness, and you hear a bird start to sing. Pay attention, because animals can they come through from our loved ones in so many ways. So love that.
Christy, what I was immediately seeing was this really young girl, like 3, but it was in black and white, which makes me think like in the 60s when Sue and I were babies. But black and white, and there's this little girl, and she's getting someone, like an older sister, is doing like pancake makeup and lipstick and like dolling her up. But the feeling from the little one was just adoring the person who was doing that to her and the fun that they were having. A very special bond. And it feels to me like you and your sister have been together in other lifetimes. It's a bond that's like thicker than what do they call it? Thicker than
Thieves.
thieves. Than something. Yeah. Yeah. But such an adoration of each other and so much fun together. So I hope that in this lifetime, you all got to have fun like that. And if you didn't, in other lifetimes you did. And I don't think you're finished, by the way. Yeah. Let's see. Jackie Bang joined us as well. Jackie,
Hi, Miss Jackie.
if you'd like to receive a message from somebody you have loved and lost, please put that there. Christy said, we were close, but night and day. Kathy had the dogs that I was an aunt to. I'm waiting for the blue butterfly. I was a tomboy.
Waiting for the blue butterfly. Well, don't discard all of the other butterflies that you might be seeing before the blue butterfly appears.
Or it might even not be a blue butterfly, but it might be something completely different, right? You can just see her going, wait a minute, look over here. No, really, look over here. Where's the butterfly? Yeah. Okay. So Pauline Margaret Goodall is looking for a message from Iris. We don't know who Iris is to you, Pauline, which is fine. Pauline's reaching out from North Wales, Great Britain. Christy saw a yellow butterfly. Okay, so Pauline and Iris.
Iris is such a pretty name. And isn't Iris's, is Iris, is that, I used to have all kinds of, I'm sure they were irises, and I just saw some the other day that I took pictures of because it's like, you rarely see them here, and I had tons of them. I mean, they just grow like crazy in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we have them here.
I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah, I gave some of the bulbs to a friend of mine. And when she planted them, when her daughter was really young, they grew so tall that they were actually taller than her daughter.
Oh, gee.
Mhm. All right, I both there. Where? I will sing you a song. And I don't know if you can hear the birds out here, they just started up. Just, so this sing you a song, it takes me to a couple different places, is yes, pay attention to the birds that are singing you a song. Pay attention to the songs that you might hear, the words of the song. Might be the tune, it might be the words. But I also feel like there's a message in, if you are not hearing the song, to sing it or to play the music purposefully yourself. Maybe you have that CD, maybe you have it on iTunes, maybe you have, go to YouTube and find a song that Iris really enjoyed and play it really loud and sing along to it or dance around the house, because I feel like there's so much joy in that, in the music itself. It's like if you could see the notes coming out and filling the room and it fills it with music, yes, but it fills it with joy. So I will sing you a song.
So this is interesting because what Iris was first showing me, and of course I have no idea in this lifetime what your relationship was. She showed me that she has been a teacher for you in several past lives. And when Sue said, I will sing you a song, I saw one of the past lives, which was really interesting because that's not usually how this rolls out. But what I was seeing was that you all were in a very primitive situation, like think Indian of some kind. I don't want to say Native American because I don't know it had anything to do with the United States. But she was an older Indian woman and you were a younger Indian girl sitting at the campfire, and she was teaching you something like a little small hand sewing thing or small something with your hands. And she was singing, and I was getting this like the tribal beat to it while she was singing. So, Sue, I was hearing the song. Yeah. But it's a song that you know in your heart and in your soul. That was beautiful. But definitely several lifetimes together. And she, a teacher, a guide. Very interesting, special relationship there. Very cool.
When you started talking about the vision, my chimes, I don't know if you heard my chimes started going off.
Yeah.
So
was
nice confirmation on that.
Yeah, thank you. Because my chimes are out of business. Okay. So Jackie has joined us, but Jackie, I don't know if there's anybody you want to hear from, and Sarah Goodall Huns. How did we get two Goodalls? Pauline and Sarah, are you related, or maybe she switched names on us?
It's always interesting. It's like, yeah, my mom's gonna join in. Like, hi, Mom.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that was wild because normally I don't usually see things from other lifetimes like that. Oh, Pauline's her mama. That's okay. Well, your mama has a fascinating history there. That's cool.
And it is interesting that she was singing, showing her something, because it's something that I think we don't even think about. It's like learning how to do something from a song that doesn't make sense. But I can see where both of them, separately and then especially together, could actually take you right back there.
Yep. Yep. And Sarah says, I've lived in past lifetimes with them both. Yeah, I'm seeing that actually. I agree. Yes. So please tell us, and who was Iris in this lifetime? I'm curious what the relationship was there. Yeah. Sue, while we're waiting for folks to chime in, I wanted to introduce you to this book. It's called Angelic Attendants. It's by Julie Ryan. And some of you might know who Julie Ryan is. She speaks with angels and I know she had a TV show for a while. Don't know if she still does, but this book is interesting because it has the 12 phases of transformation, and transformation being when you are passing away. And one of the things I thought was so interesting is she's got how she has been shown, and we've all been shown different things in our spiritual studies, the different angelic attendants that are there when you pass over. And it includes, great grandparents, your mother and your father, your pets. And I'm just going to show you a quick little snippet. I mean, this is her diagram of, so if you ever thought you were going to be dying alone, you're not. It's just fascinating, the information that different folks get.
So let me ask you a question, if she addresses that in there. Does she talk about say that I had not so good relationship with my mother, and I don't want her there.
Right. It doesn't address that. I didn't, because I was wondering that as well. Yeah, I didn't hear her address it. Um, Iris was Pauline's mom.
Okay.
So the three of them together. Yeah, Sarah's grandma. Yeah, that's fun. Sarah, if there's somebody that you would like a message from, we would be happy to entertain that. So just put it in the chat.
Yeah, I think it is really interesting about, my belief is if I want them there, they're gonna be there, and if I don't want them, they're not gonna be there. Because it's like, I don't wanna die because I had such a bad relationship with it. It's like, you know what? If you don't want them there, they ain't gonna, in my belief, if you don't want them there, they ain't gonna be there.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And well, and then there's also a section for your pets, where your pets are going to be. I'm going to have a big pet section when I cross over. Okay. And lots of angels, by the way. A lot of the little X's and stuff were angels. There's a whole slew of folks that are there to support it. So Sarah would like to connect in with George. George. And of course, she's not telling us whether George was a dog or a person. So
George was the previous owner of this house before my landlords bought it.
did you say previous or creepiest?
Previous.
Creepiest. I thought, well, goodness, Sue.
Now,
I wonder what-
previous, who is now on the other side. Both of them are now on the other side, and I did not know them. So, George, boy. Never the chimes. I mean, George, invite me into your dreams. The thing I love about this card is partially the word invite. It seems like there's so much more to invite than ask them to come into your dreams. It's just invite. So if you want to write a note and invite them, or you want to tell them, just invite them into your dreams. I believe that George has come into your dreams a couple times, and if you haven't seen him yet, I almost feel like, so what I'm seeing is so silly. It's like if there's a big cloud, a big puffy cloud, and somebody's peeking around the corner, I feel like there's like he has peeked in. Like he's watching over you is what I feel like. So there's a very protective feeling with whoever George was to you, but it feels like there's a protectiveness, and yeah, invite George into your dreams. And it might not happen the first night that you do it. Keep doing it, because it's another way to keep the connection with them. And then ask yourself to remember the dream.
And Sarah said, I've lost my sound. So Sarah, just watch this later, okay? Because it's recording with sound, so you can watch it later. When I said, it's interesting because we don't know if George was a dog or a man. The reason I said that was because they had shown me a dog and then a man. And so literally I didn't know what I was looking at. But what was funny to me, I got a big sense of humor and also a great protectiveness. So truly, I still can't tell you if George was a person or a dog. Um, but and part of the reason I think I was seeing the dog thing partly was the sense of humor that was coming through, but also steadfast. If you've ever had dogs, you know how steadfast they can be with their love and their protectiveness. And that's just the qualities that I'm getting with George. So, how lucky to have someone in your life that has those fabulous, steadfast qualities.
Mhm.
Yeah, very sweet. Okay, let's see who's next here. Okay, next up is Shiraz.
Sure.
Say, do you know Shiraz?
I think so. I can't see her name, but I'm pretty sure I do, Miss Shiraz.
And Shiraz is looking for a message from her dad, Kershi Desai. And then Carrie will get to you after that.
So Hershey is the first name.
Khurshee.
Oh, K-H, Hershey,
Hershey.
Hershey. I'm pretty sure it's the Shiraz that joins me on Sundays. No, that was it. Right, let's see what Hershey has to say. I will help you melt away your grief. You know, well, the visual that I'm getting is actually a snowman, but if you see like an ice cube around your heart. And I feel like there's grief keeps us frozen in time. And sometimes we think that, oh yeah, no, I've dealt with everything, I've gotten past all the things and it's just happy memories now. But there may still be some lingering things that's the grief that holds us in place over whatever it might be. And I feel like there was I feel like sharing the stories, it's always wonderful. But if there is a story or a memory that you don't want to look at, I feel like calling in your angels and asking Kershi to step up and be with you on this journey to look at that and work through it. Whatever that is. Grief is one of those things. I don't believe that it ever leaves us. It shifts and changes. And the more it shifts and changes, and the more that we allow our loved ones in, the more connection that we keep up with our loved ones, it's like grief changes to love, but the grief really never goes away. So that's what I'm gonna do.
So that's interesting. What is the wording on that card?
I will help you melt away your grief.
So, Shiraz, what I was seeing, it's interesting because it's taking that card and it's looking at grief in a different way. I know Sue was talking about the grief of the loss of your father, and what I'm being shown is that your father actually felt grief as he was raising you.
Mm.
Grief of the expectations on him of who he was supposed to be, whether it was family expectations, cultural expectations, government expectations. I'm not sure he fully felt free to be himself. And so in his parenting to you, the words I heard were this is the way things are. And so he was trying to show you, teach you, this is the way things are, not necessarily that that's how he would want things, not that that's the future he would want for you, but that's the way things are. Like we just have to put up with this, deal with this, because this is our lot in life. This is how we behave. This is how we're treated. This is how things work. So I think that there was grief, even in that process of just being human.
That's really interesting. I'm curious what Shiraz has to say too, because that's very interesting, and it totally makes sense to me. How in some situations somebody might be in such a situation that they truly can't be who they are. They feel like they can't for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Shiraz said he adored me. Yeah, I do see that. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. Let me just read on here. So Shiraz says he passed on in May of 2010. So it's almost anniversary time there. Did Shiraz gave us the name again? Anything else? Oh, she was in another city when he passed away. She couldn't even touch him. Yeah. Could not even touch him when I reached. She said he was always tough, angry, but very soft inside. Shiraz, I think part of why he was angry was because he wasn't free to be who he wanted. There were outside circumstances that had control over him.
Mhm.
Truly, like I said, like family, government, culture, finances, health, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know that he was really free to be as happy as he wanted to be, but he was soft on the inside. Yes, that's lovely.
And
You know,
oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Just on, even if you weren't there, you can go in and do a meditation and put yourself in the room with him. So you can be holding his hand or sitting next to him, whatever speaks to you. But if you do that meditation and put visualization in there and put the senses, I was smelling this or I'm hearing this, put all of these things, as many into that as you can, and do the meditation that you were with him when you crossed. It's amazing how not only healing it is, but you might remember him passing very differently after that meditation.
And you don't have to believe in the worst of it either. Your thoughts on what you think it might have been like, it might have been very calm and very peaceful. So don't assume that it was a horrible passing.
Right? Because you can visualize it the way that you want. So the crossing of my mom, I have no idea what it was like in the 3D world. In my world, I saw her spirit lift out of her body, come across and touch me, and then left the room.
Mm.
Very different than what may have happened, but that's how I remember it now.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Carrie Powell is up next. And then after that, I believe Alice Perez. Let me just double check myself here.
Alice finally made it.
Okay, so Shiraz said, it was very quick and peaceful for him. When he passed, he came back from a holiday with my mom and 2 days later had a heart attack and gone. I'm happy for you that that's how that went. Because nobody gets out without going through it right now. So I'm glad it was relatively easy, if you will. Yeah. And she did say that it was tough for the parents to bring up her and her brother. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so Carrie Powell would like a message from her friend Melanie. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not misspeaking here. It's really nice that you guys, A, are with us, and B, sharing comments on who we're talking about. And it's really beautiful to get to experience these relationships that you had. I mean, amazing folks are coming forward today. Lots of love being shared today. So thank you for including Sue and me with this in this. So Carrie Powell, her friend Melanie.
So when I was shuffling, this card flipped. So her friend Melanie really wants to get this across. And you can, I don't know if you can hear the plane going over, but it's very loud right now.
A little bit.
So I feel your prayers of love. And so this card is perfect with the sun and the beams going up because it's like our love, this little sun right here, this little sun in the center. It's like that love just expands out and helps them to feel it even more. It's like and it helps them. I feel like there's so much healing that happens on the other side as well. And everybody is different depending on what their lifetime was like. But when we are remembering them, when we are sharing love, when we are sharing memories, when we're talking, you know, having stories and things, it's not only strengthens the connection, but it expands the love that was there and that is still there. So I feel your prayers of love, you know, lighting a candle for someone, they can feel that when you're just sharing even a thought crossing through your mind, they can feel that. And it's an expansion of it. It truly feels like it's an expansion of your love. It's an amplifier. Oh, that's a good word. It's an amplifier of your love. So love it.
Carrie, I think Melanie's having a grand time. The first thing she showed me was a purse and then a necklace and then earrings. And I'm reminded that an author whose books I've read, Ward Bardcafer, his deceased wife, Suzanne, comes and tells him about heaven. And she explains that it can be whatever we want it to be. And Melanie is showing shoes and purses, and she's having a fabulous time. It's like shopping, but I don't know that there's any money or bartering or anything, but she is absolutely having a delightful time. And I must have asked, I don't remember doing it, something like, oh, how did you pass? And she was like, no, like no, she's just in the moment enjoying. And to me, however her passing was, does not define who she is, where she is right now. when you pass Carrie, I know she's going to be there. I know she's going to show you all of these fabulous things that she's enjoying.
Mhm.
Yeah. And she said, "Oh, I love that. That totally sounds like something she'd be enjoying." She's having a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah, very cool. And how are we doing time-wise? We've got time for one more. We're going to have Alice Perez be our final one for the day. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. So Alice says, "Hello, Sue." First of she said, "Can I get a message? I miss my husband. He passed away and I miss him. And can you send him my love? Alice, you can send him your love. You don't need a middleman."
And Alice is the one that had sent me the message, so I'm glad you made it, Miss Alice. And today, I believe, is her husband's birthday.
Um,
So happy birthday. I'm feeling a lot of nature with your husband. Feel our connection. And of course, it's his birthday and having that connection. I think on birthdays and anniversary dates, as in wedding anniversaries, but also transition dates, I think there's a strengthening of the connection that happens. But I think the connection, the way it gets strengthened is because we take time to celebrate, to light a candle, to go visit where either where they are resting now, whether it's ashes or whether it's where they were buried. I think that sharing our love strengthens that connection even more on these days. And we don't have to wait for the special days to feel the connection or share our love or share the stories. It's nice that we do that, and we can do it every single day. So I'm so glad you joined us, Miss Alice. And I know that your husband is in such a better place than he was in. So you can be happy about that as well.
Friends, I don't want you to ever think that when somebody has passed, that love dies. That love is so strong, it remains. Love is one of the few things that we know that lasts. And Alice, what he was showing me was your wedding. And it actually almost makes me tear up because it is so tender. What he was showing me was at your wedding when he kissed you. And how much love there was and is for you. So when you want us to tell him that you love him, oh, he knows. And he loves you dearly, dearly. Beautiful.
It is beautiful. That love connection. Nothing like it.
Yeah. The nice thing about folks that are in spirit, the love is there, but the grief and the loss is not. You'll notice I didn't say, oh, he's missing you so much. That's not the feeling that's coming across. It's just pure love.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that pure love helps us when we miss them. So as you were saying that, it's like, oh, I totally get that, because they know that you will be with them in the blink of an eye. Seems like a long time to us, but it's the blink of an eye. And whether we that are left here are grieving, are missing them, are worried, did they make it? It's like their love helps, not subdue, but that's the word I'm hearing. But it's help work through, help the missing get a little bit less. Cause you know how some people think, well, I don't think about them every day anymore. And I think that it's not that we don't miss them, that we don't love them, that we're not thinking about them. It's that we've come to a place where we know that we're not separate. We know that we're still together in some way.
Yeah. Alice was with him for 50 years. Oh, sweet. And you weren't with him when he passed. Sometimes, Alice, that's on purpose.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. I know your heart wanted to have been there with him, but it very well might have been on purpose.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Miss Sue Broome, thank you. We're at the top of the hour. All of you friends, thank you so much for being there. Sophia, I'm glad you came. Join us an hour earlier next time, and we'll get to you because you keep popping in at the very end. It was all ladies today. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing with you, your loved one, with us, your loved ones. It was a real treat for us. So take good care. God bless. We will be back second week of May. So I'm not sure what's the date on that. Sue, do you have that?
It is May 13th, and I know we've been kind of playing with Mondays, but as of, that's what I have on my schedule right now is May 13th, so I would say watch for it in case it changes times.
Exactly. All right, friends, take good care. God bless. We'll see you soon. Bye.